It is Friday, October 30th, the day before Halloween. It's a Friday night Halloween, so whatever that means in your world. If I'm a seventh grade boy, that means some good times, right? I mean, junior high, Friday night Halloween. I was singing because I had that birthday the other day, and it was like a Monday, and I'm like, Monday birthdays, yeah, right, it's okay, but it's not awesome. But a Friday night Halloween, oh my God. Okay, so here's what we got. This is what's happening across the country right now. First thing we look at are these two low pressure centers moving into the Pacific Northwest the next couple days. There's flood watches and things going on there. It is a atmospheric river, but we're going to call it a storm with a lot of moisture. We'll try to work that in because it's a storm with a lot of moisture, and it's very typical for this time of year, and they're going to get a bunch of rain. Everybody south of that are going to be pretty dry, especially California, until early next week. Southern California, you got rid of that heat advisory, heat warning, or red flag warning, pardon me. And then what else you got? Oh, then you got the big hurricane that is now shearing apart. We talked about this yesterday, right? It's getting into cooler waters. It's being drawn further north, so cooler water, and it's getting into some wind shear being upper level winds, the jet stream, and you can see the jet stream pulling it that way. So this is a perfect opportunity to point out how the jet stream, which looks like this, impacts, right? How this out here, this ridge that's been pumped up because of that low pressure center, digs this trough, which pumps up a ridge, which grabs this hurricane. All connected, man. And that's, if this trough weren't here, and this was a high pressure in here instead, it wouldn't have been hard for this hurricane, this massive hurricane, to have a completely different course and to have impacted the mainland United States. What you hear in the background is Frances. She is been a handful today. So, can you hear that? Little dogs, man. She's got a little sweater on, too. I'd grab her and show you, but I can't. Yeah, there's no way. Anyway, she's awesome. Just never had a little dog. They're pretty great. I mean, big dogs are awesome. I've always had big dogs. Little dogs are like I've always said, a cat, a monkey, and a horse, and a dog. They're a little bit of everything. Okay, so this is the fog. This is the coastal fog along the coast. And then this is the valley fog and coastal fog combined. The valley fog the coastal fog, the advection fog became valley fog. I didn't see any dense fog advisories this morning, which surprised me because it's pretty dense, but it's burning off quickly. Southern California, you got a clean run of it. This is a live picture from atop Mount Tamalpais, where the temperature today in in Mill Valley will go about 77 degrees. Here's the fog. You see the coastal fog, and then it starts to fill in the morning. Wow, isn't that awesome? Sun comes up, you kind of see it sloshing back and forth because that's the fog coming out of the valley now, pushing out towards the coast. And it's just a symphony of atmospheric awesomeness. That's beautiful. I would do that again, but literally I've had to do this a couple times because Frances she's just settling down now, but she's been, she'll start to bark. And literally I tried to work through it, but I'm like, you guys, it'll drive you nuts. So anyway, this is my third time through this bad boy. This is Mount St. Helena, and then this is up in the wine country. Temperatures today up in the Napa Valley will be in the mid 70s, upper 70s. Beautiful day. A few high cirrus clouds. Those from this weather system right here, right? So that's the cirrus clouds move out ahead of the system. So in the old days, you would go, like my dad would look up and go, "Oh, storms are coming," right? Well, he'd be looking at this. And that's true. The storm is coming because this is the moisture from the weather system that is closer to the ground. But as it grows, those weather systems off the Pacific, they push the cooler air or the stormy air higher and higher. And when it gets higher and higher, it goes way out ahead of the storm because it's friction free, right? It's up in the jet stream. Okay, I hope that made sense. I like it when you guys go. Sometimes I'll go, "Does that make sense?" You go, "No." Or sometimes you'll go, "Yeah, that made sense." And so this is another shot. This is the world's smallest mountain range. I want it to be. This is looking towards paradise, towards kind of paradise over here, Sawmill Peak, where I grew up. Used to see this beautiful geologic landmark out my window. Sacramento Valley, kind of smoky, hazy. A lot of controlled burns going on out there. We've got, the story on the Sutter Buttes, truthfully, it's not the smallest mountain range in the world because they don't measure mountain ranges. Now, I may be wrong, but I did a deep dive into this a few months ago. And it was like, no, geologists don't measure mountain ranges. And I was a geographer at Berkeley, and we used to, yeah, it's the world's smallest mountain range. So it sort of was like, it's stuck, even in academia. But it turns out, more than likely, it was a salesman who was selling real estate after the railroad went in, after the gold rush, all that, right? You're bringing, hey, everybody on the East Coast, come out here and check out the world's smallest mountain range. You can build your ranch right by it, blah, 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 blah. There's water, Sacramento River, blah, blah. But it was the world's smallest mountain range. It was a catch. So it was a sales pitch. It's a sales pitch. I could be wrong on that because I had to triangulate that information from reading numerous history books over the last 30 years. It turns out I think that's what it is. You can correct me if you want. I would love it if you do or could. Pasadena today is going to go 88 degrees. You guys in Southern California, that heat advisory not there, but still a heat. It's still hot and still dry. It's still a little breezy. Not as breezy as it was, but still breezy. So no red flag warning, but a red flag warning could certainly. It was in effect yesterday, and even though it's not officially a red flag warning day, it's a high fire danger day. This is the Mojave Desert. Temperature today in the Mojave, 90 degrees. They store airplanes out there. They store a lot of things out there because it's not as corrosive, right? Salt, right? Salt in the air. It's dry. Not much moisture in the air. And believe it or not, plants put out a corrosive component too. So there's not a lot of plants. And it's really cheap. The land's really cheap out there. So it's an awesome place to store things. So I always had a kick out of that because when you drive by, you're like, oh, it's a hell of an airport, right? You've done it. I mean, I know it's not an airport. When I was a little kid, that's a big airport, man. Oh, this is, let me try and back this off a little bit. This is the Pacific Northwest. This is that flood watch, flood warning, or flood advisory. And that goes through, I think it's through Friday. Let's take a look. I think I just had it up too. I should have left it up. This is the National Weather Service. They put out products, which are awesome. Threat of flooding Friday night through Sunday. That's sort of a drag for trick-or-treaters, right, up there. This is our chances. They're talking about the potential rainfall for next week, somewhere around Tuesday through Friday next week. Some light showers. We're on the southern end again. And then offshore, we have no high surf advisory, well, a little bit down towards Big Sur. And we'll look at that. And then that's a small craft advisory. And then I think I can go to LA. Yeah, so here's the high surf advisory down by Lompoc, Point Conception, Big Sur, and then here is a small craft advisory offshore. And that's it. That's awesome. The red flag warning's been dropped. These are the forecast highs for today. Yeah, Halloween. Here's the other thing. Halloween's fun. I'm funny with as you look at the highs for today, and then I'll put in the highs tomorrow. I'm funny with Halloween only because I don't like dressing up. I just don't. I have enough weird insecurities just putting clothes on that are normal. But you paint my face or, so I never really liked. I like it for the kids. I think it's an awesome kid holiday. But older people, I know everybody dresses up. I know it's me. My wife thinks I'm horrible, but I'm like, hey, give the holiday to the kids, man. Like, don't you remember when you were a little kid and you're all dressed up and you'd see like your mom's friends dressed as like a sexy witch or something, and you're like, whoa, what's going on right now, man? I know I should not. I'm wrong. I know I'm wrong, but I'm like, yeah, it should just be for kids. It's kind of like, you know what? It's kind of like, and that it seems like that is sort of a 60s, 70s thing. It's sort of like we took something from. So I have a theory about, and these are the highs for today, and then we get right to the models. Oh my God, you have to scrub through this part, but I always thought that if there's good music, like in the old days, the Beatles, the old people didn't mess with that. That was kids' music, right? They didn't start digging it and taking it for their own. And so it's kind of like when older people take cool kids stuff, like Halloween, it's sort of like, you guys, give it to the kids. Okay, I'm wrong. I know I'm wrong. These are the forecast highs for today, or for tomorrow, pardon me. So here's today. What's the difference? Barely anything. Still warm in Southern California, you guys. Here's the model. Wow. Sorry it took so long to get to it. Let me move this over just a little bit. Okay. So here is the ridge. You see the ridge, and then you see this pump. This pumps up the ridge, dips the trough, grabs the hurricane. Okay. So here we go. Let's see what's coming. That's Pacific Northwest. That's that Friday night thing. Right? And you can see it's all trajectory north. All trajectory north. And then this is our opportunity calm right there. See it? Look at how low the jet stream is. That's Wednesday morning into Thursday morning. So Wednesday into Thursday. That's a good one. That's a good one. That could be a good one. Not awesome, but good. And what we'll do is we're going to go back. Remember that date. So this is November 6th when we're going to look at precipitable water. Not yet. This is the sea level pressure map. That's that deal that goes through the Pacific Northwest this weekend. Here comes November 4th, November 5th. And that's the system 6th and 7th. So that looks pretty juicy. That looks really pretty good, actually. Let's take a look at this. This is the precipitable water. So first thing you see, Pacific Northwest, that's Halloween. Right, so that's a very moist weather system, and it is going to bring that flood advisory to fruition. And then you see that blue area represents the moisture tap. This is November 2nd, goes away, comes back. See that tongue just keep there, and then there it is. This is that opportunity. So that'll be interesting how that plans out because the dynamics are there. We saw the upper level winds, and now we're seeing it kind of progress through over 24 hours. So we'll see, right? And you can see the trough, right? You can see the low. Even though these are winds and moisture, you can see the counterclockwise rotation. So, I wanted to, you know what I want to do? I'm going to try it. No, I'm not going to try it. These are the forecast concerns, red flag warnings, frost advisories, that flood advisory up in the Pacific Northwest. And then this is the 6 to 10 day, weather outlook. I have to get rid of that thing somewhere. Above average temperatures the next 6 to 10 days. Above average rainfall for Northern California, Central California. It's funny, I'm getting more and more, I'm getting a little bit of pushback on. I noticed the Bay Area's in Northern Central California technically, but in terms of the line that's the traditional agrarian Northern California, Southern California line, I always consider Bay Area Northern California, and I don't consider Central California until you get to Big Sur. You can go either way on that. I know I got somebody was saying, you're talking about Northern California, that's Del Norte County, and that is true. That is true. But there was a time when Northern California, the state wasn't that big, so there was Northern California and Southern California. I don't even think we had a Central California, truthfully. I mean, obviously you do, but I don't think we did. I think we only referred to Northern California and Central California or Southern California. But earthquakes, okay, big one the other day. Okay, let's go right to it. This is this is a pretty busy day. This is the day one of magnitude 2.5s. So those are pretty sizable, respectable quakes. There's a 5.4. That's a big one. That's just in the last hour? When did that come off? Let's see. 10:33. Yeah, this morning. Yeah, that's a big quake. Okay, and then you got more quakes. These are all 2.5 and above. San Francisco Bay Area, right? So it's very active time. And then if you look at all the quakes of all magnitudes, it just gets busy and busy. So it's always happening. I know. I like this map because again, it shows us that the things are rotating, man. I mean, rotating, and it's not going to stop because you want it to. It's just the plates move, and they're going to bump into each other, and they're going to collide, and you're going to have quakes. This is the forecast model for surf. You can see west coast of the United States. Europe's getting some stuff. Wow, look at that. Wow. Yeah, big storms. Look at Saturday. This Saturday, Sunday off the west coast. So it's good swell coming. It's not that big today. It's a little bigger today. Gets a little small tomorrow and then comes back up this weekend. And we'll look at Ocean Beach. Oops, do that again. This is that kind of day. It is windy. The winds are not necessarily onshore, but it was so windy last night. Well, they are onshore actually, but it was so windy last night that the ocean is jumbled up. They're calling it 6 to 8 feet. And then this is Malibu, and you see the difference. I got the quad camera up, kind of like Red Zone. This, you can see the difference between north of Point Conception. It's broad brush, but north of Point Conception, south of Point Conception. That's why the Beach Boys, that's why surfing, that's why Malibu. This is 4 shots of Malibu, but that's why the wave. Look at the wave. It's awesome. The wind misses it. You're out of the weather, and these waves come in. I love Malibu, actually. The waves are coming in like this, and you can kind of see them. They sort of spin in. They turn. See how this one's going this way? The general wave direction is this way, but they grab the point and they turn in. It's a point wave, and it cleans up the wave, pulls out a lot of the power. It's much more fun to surf. I mean, Ocean Beach is awesome, but it's harrowing. Santa Cruz has points too, right? But point waves. I don't know any surfer in the world who doesn't like. Maybe Jamie O'Brien doesn't like point waves because he's a funny guy. I actually know him, so I can say that. But he came to Santa Cruz one time. I was up meeting him and Bill and Tina, and it was good. It was like 4 to 6. It was like awesome. And Lane was gone. And I go, Jamie, why aren't you going out? He's like, didn't look that good. I'm like, well, it's as good as it's been in months. He's like, he went up to Twin Bridges and looking for hollow slabs. So it's a different world, those guys, and I think that's his deal too. I think he's more, he's an extreme surfer. Actually, he is. Okay, Mount Shasta, clouds coming in. You see we're further north, so you see the lower clouds. Let's put a loop on this. Okay. Cirrus, right? Remember we talked about cirrus clouds? Oh, storms are coming. See how the clouds are getting lower and lower and lower as the weather system gets closer and closer. Eventually it'll turn into rain. Not maybe at this latitude. It will next week. But the Pacific North there, see the lower clouds? There might be some sprinkles or showers. That's Mount Shasta. And then this is Mount Whitney. No snow. Whitney today, 79 degrees. Wow. Fairlawn Islands are fogged in. I had a shot of that earlier. This is the Mojave Desert. I think they're going to go 90 today. And you go, Bill, what's going on there? Well, it's a live camera. Somebody's stuck in their backyard, and that somebody has a bunch of bird feeders. Right, there's a bird there. There's a dove there. And there are days I'll pull this up, and there's some cool S here. Really cool S. Like, because it's hot. Like today's 90, it's pretty mild. But when you got a water source, you're going to bring in some stuff. So it's kind of it's Mojave Desert Camp. It's not really that fun right now. Is it? Okay. No, it's not that fun right now. Okay. And then we go to, I don't even know where we're going. Oh, this is kind of fun. This is, I'm going to reset this. This is down in, a buddy of mine, Denny McInerney, goes, Bill, because I showed this camera earlier, and I think I said it was, oh, shoot. Okay, we got a commercial. We'll have to wait for it. Create. It's in Laguna Beach, and it's awesome. And I love Laguna Beach, actually. Let's see if it goes away. Thanks for hanging in. Sorry to take you through that. Okay, there you go. So it's Laguna Beach. Again, another example of being inside the point. You're under the Point Conception, plus you're under a couple other points. And these, not just, Point Conception is huge, but you also, the waves are still coming in, and they're still kind of turning in, right? And that's refraction. Waves do that. Well, waves refract. Light refracts. Well, light's a wave. So light, when light refracts, it bends, and the wavelength changes, and you get different colors. That's how you get your sunsets. So a beautiful shot. Laguna Beach today is going to be 77 degrees. Let's see what else we got for you. This is Nature Snack City. So we did the weather stuff. This is Pacific up here. That's right. I'm sorry. Northern California, Southern California. Northern California, Southern California. My kids go, I love San Diego. I'm like, really? Because I love Northern California. I know. I can see why people lean that way. And then there's Venice Beach. They're going to be 79 degrees today. And like I say, man, everybody's moving. These dudes are got a little Peloton going here. I always get a little miff when, bike guys, like those guys are kitted out. Like, so they're wearing they're going after it. They're wearing skin tight stuff. But when they do that, like the Golden Gate Bridge, we get this too, where it's kind of like when it's a passenger, or what do you call it, pedestrian walkway. Don't Lance Armstrong through the crowd, man. Just don't. Because on the Golden Gate Bridge, on the west side of the bridge, on the weekends, that's closed. That's just bikes. Go to town. But on the right side of the bridge, I think during the weekdays, it's pedestrian and bikes. And you'll get these dudes in a pace line coming through, guys from, other countries who don't speak English, who are older, and they'll just blow by. I'm like, you guys, I mean, I get it. It's awesome to rip, but maybe just, if you're gonna go all Lance, just do it somewhere where you're not going to scare the hell out of somebody. All right, Venice Beach, told my story about almost getting raked up by one of those things. Hope you're having a good day. Kind of rambly today. Sorry about that. But we don't have a lot of weather going on. Appreciate you guys. What do you got? Oh, you know what I'd like? If you guys could, and I know somebody's still there. If you're still here, okay, first of all, just drop me a note. If you're still here, just drop me a note. Because I would be interested. If there's 2 people here, I would be super enthused. But if you 2 are here, the other thing I'd like is if you guys know of any awesomeness live cameras, like this is a cool live camera, right? And I've been kind of digging. I kind of like the Mojave live camera a little bit. Oh, that's the Mojave. That's the Mojave. I like it, but there's got to be, like, I've lost my Eagles live camera. I haven't lost it, but they're not nesting right now, or they're not in the nest. The Bears up at the falls of Brooks Falls, they're all done, man. They're at least I can't find any. So I need new live cameras, people and animals. Okay, see ya.